Virtue is freedom means that only the person who masters themselves, their impulses, judgments, and fears, can live fully and freely. Because without virtue, we are slaves. And usually when they say that, they're talking about some vice or some kind of self-destructive behavior. But I think what they really mean is, I wish I had the virtue to not do X. Because the truth is, if we had the freedom to do whatever we wanted whenever we wanted, it would just be chaos. It wouldn't be freedom. In Stoic philosophy, virtue is the highest good. It is the unwavering commitment to reason, integrity, courage, and justice, regardless of external circumstances. Because virtue is the strength, the willpower to do what is right, even when we don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when it costs us something. Virtue is freedom from addiction, freedom from destructive habits, freedom from the things that hold us back and keep us from being our best selves. Because virtue, my friends, is freedom. Let me explain. Welcome to the channel. We all want to be free. Surely we should be free to choose between good and evil and not be forced into doing one or the other. Surely we should be free to choose our own destiny, even if it leads us to hell. No, you're choosing to work for 40 hours a week doing something you hate. That's not freedom. That's slavery. Without virtue, we are reactive. We let anger, greed, or fear make our choices. We depend on things outside of us, approval, success, pleasure, to feel okay. Virtue is the source of our freedom. Virtue is the ability to choose what is right, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. Virtue is not a cage. It is a key. It is the path that frees you from chaos within and noise without. It is the compass that allows you to walk through any storm with peace and dignity. Modern society often defines freedom as the absence of restriction, the ability to do, say, or consume whatever we want. But this definition leads not to liberation, but to chaos, addiction, distraction, emotional slavery, and inner fragmentation. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, proposed a different view, one that is both ancient and urgently modern, because virtue is the strength, the courage, the wisdom that enables us to find the right path, the path that leads to heaven. True freedom is not the power to satisfy every desire. It is the strength to govern desire, and that strength comes from virtue, but the reward is worth it. Because true freedom is not the absence of constraints. In Stoic thought, virtue is the highest good, the one thing that cannot be taken from you, regardless of fortune, circumstance, or power. Virtue is not about being good in a moralistic sense. It is about being internally whole, ethically consistent, and unshakably aligned with truth. Wisdom, sound judgment, clear thinking, right discernment, courage, the will to act rightly despite fear, loss, or pressure, justice, fairness, honesty, integrity, and concern for the common good, temperance, moderation, discipline, and emotional. When we choose something that is not good for us, when we choose something that makes us unhappy, when we choose something that destroys us, we're not really choosing freely. Virtue, then, is living in harmony with reason, nature, and your true self, regardless of what the world is doing around you. This is true freedom. Not political, not economic, but existential. The freedom to choose who you are, how you live, and how you respond to life. The Stoics believed the only thing fully within our control is our character, our choices, values, and intentions. Everything else, health, wealth, relationships, reputation, is temporary and external. To build your life on anything unstable is to live in fear. To build it on virtue is to live in peace. To live by virtue is to reclaim your mind, your will, and your soul from the forces that seek to control them. It is to stand firm in a world of noise, to choose the higher path in a culture of shortcuts, and to walk calmly through chaos because your compass is internal. In the end, your freedom is not defined by what you possess, but by who you are when everything is stripped away. And the person who has cultivated virtue, quietly, consistently, deeply, is the one who is truly free. Would you like me to adapt this summary for a motivational video, a spoken word performance, or as part of a course on Stoic living? I can customize it for any format you're envisioning. In today's world, freedom is often mistaken for limitlessness. The power to choose anything, say anything, do anything, consume anything, and walk away from anything without consequence. We are told that freedom is about removing restrictions, escaping commitments, and rejecting structure. But this pursuit of freedom paradoxically, has made many people feel more lost, more anxious, and more enslaved than ever. Freedom is not the absence of limits. It is the presence of virtue. Freedom is not about doing whatever you want. It is about becoming who you truly are. To the Stoics, Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, virtue was not optional. It was not moral decoration or religious idealism. Virtue was the very foundation of a meaningful life. They defined virtue as the consistent alignment of thought, word, and action with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. The 4 cardinal virtues. The person who lacks virtue may appear free, but internally, they are bound. They are at the mercy of their moods, urges, insecurities, and the opinions of others. You know that gambling will ruin your life, but you gamble anyway. In these cases, you're not really choosing freely. You're choosing under the influence of addiction, habit, or bad advice. You're not really choosing good. You're choosing evil. You're harming yourself. But what does that actually mean, to be free? Is it just the absence of external constraints? We need help. We need someone to pull us out of the fire. And that's where virtue comes in. Because virtue is the strength, the courage, the love that enables us to help others and ourselves. It's the strength to resist temptation, the courage to face our fears, the love to do what is right. Is it the ability to do whatever we want, or is there something more? In his essay on liberty, the great philosopher John Stuart Mill wrote, "The only purpose for which power can be rightfully exercised over any member of a civilized community against his will is to prevent harm to others." I think this is a good starting point, but I think we can do better. What about the harm we do to ourselves? Surely we should be free to do whatever we want, even if it hurts us, right? Well, yes and no. Yes, because we are free to choose to do whatever we want. And no, because when we do certain things to ourselves, we don't really have the freedom to stop doing them. We become addicted, dependent, enslaved by our own choices. Think about it. If you choose to start smoking, then you no longer have the freedom to decide not to smoke, at least not without experiencing severe withdrawal symptoms. The same goes for alcohol, drugs, gambling, pornography, and other forms of self-destructive behavior. In fact, addiction is such a powerful force that it can literally change the structure of your brain. So when someone says, "I wish I had the freedom to stop drinking," what they really mean is, "I wish I had the strength, the willpower to stop drinking," because the freedom to drink is not real freedom. It's the freedom to enslave yourself. This is why virtue is freedom. But you might object and say, what about our freedom to do what is right? Think about it. And when we do that, we don't really have the freedom to stop ourselves. But you might still object and say, what about the freedom to choose our own path in life? Think about it. If you choose to pursue a career that you hate, is that really freedom? And when we do that, we don't really have the freedom to get out of it. We need help. We need someone to show us the way. So no, my friends, virtue is not a constraint on our freedom. Think about it. When you choose to be honest, you're freeing yourself from the chains of deceit. Now, of course, this is not easy. It takes strength, it takes courage, it takes discipline. And that, my friends, is the beauty of virtue. So let us cultivate virtue, not as a burden, but as a source of strength. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe. And remember, virtue is freedom. Thank you for watching.